Not your average tabletop. Woohoo!
Hey everyone, welcome to Not So Average Tabletop. I'm Mac,
And I'm Zach.
and today we're going to be doing our CHIPPI review for the game Fox and the Forest Duet.
Yes, we've been looking forward to doing this one ever since we did The Fox in the Forest.
And we had a kind of a disagreement on that one, so maybe go back and check that one out if you haven't already seen it.
Right, and maybe after this one we'll have to do another video of comparing the two.
Yeah.
Kind of get our thoughts on what we think is better, what we think is worse.
Alright, so core mechanics.
For core mechanics, I gave it a 7.25, so I'm getting pretty technical there.
Splitting hairs.
There's a lot of similar things to the Fox in the Forest, where some of the cards have special powers that they do, but the tug of war aspect to it with the co-op, those two things mixed together just are something that I haven't really seen in any games. We had actually played this one, I believe, before we played The Crew, which is another cooperative trick-taking game. So yeah, this one's trick-taking. Didn't say that, but cooperative trick-taking. But this one it's a little bit different with a tug of war because it's only 2 players, whereas that one kind of...
It's a group, more of a
yeah,
group.
yeah, you can play with more people,
Right.
and it's slightly different as to what your goals are, but there's also some similarities.
Yeah. I gave it a 9, so a little bit higher, but it is just trick taking and then moving that thing back and forth. I don't like the number 7 card. I don't know. I don't think it's really all that special. Like, it's more confusing if nothing else. I feel like we both avoid that card just because you have to like give someone a card in your hand, and I feel like it's easier to manage your hand when you know what's in it, and then as opposed to like getting one thrown your way that you're just like, okay, well, how do I manage this one now, because you've been playing up into that point with knowing what was in your hand. So
I could see that being I don't know, if you are saving that towards the end of your hand, sometimes you can use that if you have like all high cards left or all low cards
it can
to
be
give
good.
you a little bit of a chance.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you've kind of got a little bit of everything, then that one, yeah, I think maybe if you played the game a lot and you always played with the same people or the same person, I think you could probably use that to really, I don't know, manipulate the thing to kind of do the same type of tricks over and over again. And I think, yeah, that's the mechanics themselves are neat with that new thing, but I don't think it. I think I like the way, Fox and the Forest did it. I like their powers slightly better.
Yeah.
So I guess I'm comparing it to that, which is
Sure.
why I'm knocking it down further than you are.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Because I like those card powers better.
I just like the tug of war aspect because it's
fun.
It's not just a trick taking game. Okay, it's a trick taking game, but you have to be aware of where you are at on the board and what
Right.
could possibly happen depending on what card you lay. And so I think that elevates it to another level as opposed to Fox and the Forest where you're just playing tricks to try and win the hand. I mean, I guess you are trying to get a certain amount, but I think the tug of war aspect for me, and because it's co-op, makes it just a bit better.
Yeah, I can see that. It's interesting, but I just feel like sometimes there's like, one...
We're gonna have to agree to disagree on this specific.
But 7.25
functionality.
still isn't bad.
No,
So,
it's not bad. No.
Yeah.
And I think for history, we've played this probably about 10 times, or if not more.
Probably more.
Just with each other. I don't think we've taught it to too many people, but
Right, yeah. I don't know that we've taught the Fox and the Forest that many people either.
I think I've taught it to Abby and my mom, but that's probably it. So, I don't know. There's just not a lot of time for 2-player games when we have family here. So,
Right. We've got investment. What do you got for that?
I got an 8.5. Just because I feel like it's easy to set up. It's got a decent replay value. But there isn't a ton of replay. Like, I feel like it's not one that I'm like, it's a different game every time I open the box. You know, like, you play with the same cards, the goals remain the same. And so I think that kind of knocks it down for me. It is an easy setup and stuff, so I do like that piece of it where you just shuffle the cards, deal them out, and I did mark it down just a little bit because I'm not always sure where those red squares go. I know there's kind of a marker on the board, but it's not clear to me, and I'm pretty sure I could clear it up if I just read the rule book. But but I'm just saying, just intuition wise.
Makes it hard to set up when you don't read the rules.
Intuition wise, it's just kind of odd. So.
Yeah, I gave it a 7.5, so just a little bit lower, and yeah, mainly because it plays pretty quickly. You can set it up really quickly and tear it down really quickly, so you can get a lot of plays in of it if you wanted to, or you can always fit it in if you were, I don't know, in between some other game or something. If you only had 2 players, it's one that you can kind of squeeze in there. But yeah, it's one for 2 players. It's a quick one for 2 players.
Yeah.
And I don't remember. I should have looked back to see what I gave the Fox and the Forest for all these ratings, because, yeah, it's kind of like you had said, that it's a similar feel where I don't feel like the game is changing from game to game, but I probably rated the Fox and the Forest way higher. I don't remember what I gave it, but I'm guessing I probably gave it a higher score than a 7.5.
Yeah.
But that might be because I may or may not like that one quite a bit more.
Bias.
But yeah, I agree with you that it plays quickly. 7.5, not kind of, I don't know, better than average for me. So, yeah.
All right, presentation. I gave it an 8 overall. I mean, I think it's good. It's consistent with the Fox and the Forest artwork, I think. There's really not a lot of change in there. I don't really like the red diamond. Actually, I think they're supposed to be mushrooms or something. And that kind of ties into the other reason I rated it down. It's just, like, the theme. It's just so random. Like, I feel like they just slapped something on and that was it. Like, it's really, like, what's on the cards really makes no difference to what this card's special power is, or if there isn't someone on there, and I have no idea why they have certain ones instead of others. Like, that kind of piece just kind of brought it down for me, because it's really just a card game, and you really could have slapped almost any theme on it had you decided to. So I think if they were going to go for this look, I think I would have preferred, it's very mystical and fantastical, and I think the art is great. I just think maybe they should have just gone with like a cutesier theme. I don't know if that would have appealed to like more serious or board games, but I just feel like they probably could have went with maybe more of a cutesy animal theme if they were going to go woodland fantastical. I don't know why I have a woodcutter on my or maybe I can't remember which, or a stag or a mirror or something like that in some of these.
Well, I gave it a 9.
Oh!
So now I'm catching back up to you. I really like the artwork. I really like the artwork in the first one. I think the first one, anyway, we had gotten before, like the Everdells and the Roots and like the Links. A lot of the woodland animal games started coming out, and now it feels like there's a lot of them. But at the time, I definitely liked that kind of feel, and this one's probably come out, I think, since.
Yeah.
Or around the same time as those other ones. But I like the theme. I like that outdoorsy theme, woodsy theme. And this one has a little more of a real look to it versus some of those. So I guess I'm fine with it. I don't know if we have any other games with like the
a
realistic looking animal versus a little more cartoony type look to them. So I really enjoy it, and I think
I still gave it an 8, so it's not like I hate it.
You hate it. That 8 is no, but yeah, and the box is just the right size for what it is. It's not trying to be more than it is, and the cardboard bits and stuff. I know. Yeah, I don't know about if they're diamonds or mushrooms or what. I don't remember what they're supposed to be, but I think they really work for the game. They're not. They don't feel like cheap quality, but also it's not like they're overproducing it to make it seem like it's way bigger than it is. I think it's about the perfect type of items that you need for a game this size. Yeah. So that's why I gave it a 9.
Agreed.
The whole package came together.
It is very much a good packaged game. So. All right, 7.5 preference.
I'm shocked that that's not higher. I'm a little surprised.
I know. It's hard because I compare it to Fox and the Forest, and I prefer it over Fox and the Forest. But do I prefer it over other 2-player games? Not always. Do I prefer it over some of the other games we have that aren't 2 players? Not always. So that's kind of why I went there. Like I said before, the replay really isn't there for me strongly. Like, it's good, and it's one that I prefer to play when I feel like maybe I've been losing a lot, or maybe I just need a break from competing. And this is a great game that kind of like, when played with Zach, who I normally play with, you have to work together. So it's kind of like an equalizer, I would say, in some ways, where for us who game a lot, it's like, I just want something where we can work together on. And I don't really like co-ops that often, but because I have my own hand, my own tricks, I control, kind of what my movement is. And it's just very straightforward like that. So I only rated it down just because I didn't feel like there was a lot of replay, and also just because we have a lot of two-player games that I really do like. And so this one I kind of sit in the reserves until I feel like, all right, I need one to kind of get me back in the W area.
Right. Yeah, I gave it a 7, which is right in that 6.5 to 7.5 area for me, is kind of those that I'm willing to play if someone else wants to play them, and I may or may not pick it off the shelf. I've kind of got to be in the mood for it. That's kind of where I see those ones. And yeah, like you said, I meant to say that earlier. What did you say now? Oh yeah, that each player gets to make their own decisions and stuff. Because yeah, like you said, I'm not really a big fan of co-op games either most of the time, but I do like them if you can make it so players are making their own choices versus having some one player kind of take the reins. And then it's like you have to pretty much have people that are all into it the same amount. Otherwise, yeah, you'll get that one leader player, and this game doesn't have that. So
Yeah.
I think that was a good thing for the mechanics as well. And that's kind of where I'd prefer to play it, is if you just don't need a competitive experience. I mean, it's competitive against the game itself, but
But
you
not
don't
against
need it
each
against
other.
But,
Yeah.
So 7 for me.
All right, it factor. I've got a 6. Like we've kind of said, it is just a trick-taking game. They do have the very neat tug of war aspect, which I do love, and it's co-op. But overall, it is still just a card game with some added elements to it. So I wouldn't say that it's just beyond anything I've ever heard of. I love the way they use the different mechanics. I just don't think it's just not to me, I don't know. I like it. Otherwise,
Yeah.
it's great. I like to get the tiles off. There is punishments if you go too far, which I understand, kind of thing. But I mean, it's a great game, and I do really like it. So.
Yeah, I gave it an factor of a 5 with that tug of war trick taking. It's the tug of war part. I don't think we have many games that you're kind of trying to vie for control. So it's kind of a unique one to us. We don't have any of those really. So yeah, I gave it a 5, and also just kind of goes back to the base game. It's kind of takes a lot of things from that, which was a game that I really liked. So it kind of kept to the same thing, but then added more to it. Which gives me an overall of a 7.8.
And me an overall of 8.3.
We're actually a little closer than I thought we would be.
Yeah, we aren't as far apart on this one, but I think it's safe to say that we may have a preference independently of each other on this game.
So yeah, I think it's one I would definitely recommend at least trying if you like the Fox in the Forest and how that trick taking works, because it's a very similar thing, only now some of the cards have paw prints on them, and then you're going back and forth in a forest based on who won the trick. You go that many, you add up the paw prints, go back and forth. So if you like cooperative games and the Fox in the Forest, I think it's one worth definitely trying out, especially if you need more two-player games in your collection.
Yeah, I think it's a great, kind of builds teamwork. So if you play a lot of games with someone, it's going to be one that it'll probably help you more than it'll hurt you, unless this is not your style at all, in which case just ignore everything we've said.
But yeah, otherwise I'd compare it to The Crew as well a little bit. So yeah, if you don't usually play with two players, I think you can always go try that out if you're looking for another trick-taking
Yeah.
cooperative game.
All right. Well, thanks for watching, guys. Go check out our channel for a rules recipe, a quick bite, and a playthrough.
Yeah. Check out who wins that one. Otherwise, keep on nibbling.